Hey guys, it's Chris. Welcome back to Quick Notes with Chris. Today we're going to be talking about the book 7 Strategies for the Wealth and Happiness by Jim Rohn. Now, Jim Rohn is a highly successful motivational coach and someone that I highly suggest if you're looking towards putting yourself in a better position for success, no matter what the type, I highly suggest you read some of his books. This is, I think, his third book when it comes to personal development, and it's really awesome because it's things that you can directly apply in your life and in your job rather than just general mindset tips. Although that's overall more important, this is awesome if you've sort of already read enough books on that and want to start applying things in order to directly improve your life. Now, the first thing that the book talks about is understanding habits and how success is no more than natural consequence of consistency and applying the fundamentals throughout a day-to-day success in life. So basically it talks about how your daily routine, what you basically consistently doing the right thing is eventually going to proceed and give you the correct results that you're looking for. So every single person who's been successful, even if it looks like an overnight sensation, even though those actually don't directly link, is a result from consistent effort over a constant period of time. We always talk about consistency, being committed and consistent over a period of time. So always making sure that your daily habits are the things that are actively leading you towards success. So Jim Rohn talks about how your daily habits are going to determine your future. If you spend your time in looking towards reading books, looking towards mentorships, I think eventually you're going to be successful. It's just a matter of time. If you spend your time focusing on entertainment, chasing the wrong things in life that are straying you away from your goals, I don't think you're going to achieve them. It's really simple, especially if you can understand that your circumstances are actually directly linked through your daily habits, and your daily habits are created through your thoughts. So if you can understand that, then you're eventually going to understand how success works. He utilizes the example of farming and how farming really has just half a dozen things that you have to do consistently. The first one's being having soil, seed, water, sunshine, nourishment, and care. If you apply those things on a daily basis to your crops, eventually you're going to reap a harvest no matter where you are. And that's basically the same thing that happens to success. Understands your 6 basics, whether it is nourishment of the mind, whether it is consistency of effort, whether it is care towards the work that you're doing, and eventually if you apply that over an extended period of time, success is just going to be a byproduct of basically putting in those seeds. There's a lot of examples of talking about how your mind is a garden. Your mind is a garden that you need to constantly monitor. If you don't, negativity will grow just like the weeds in a garden. Positivity is something that needs to actively be worked on in order to have it actively present in your life. I think that if your garden in real life is fruitful, is full of different types of vegetables, or it looks really incredibly nice, I think you've put a lot of time into that. Well, it's the same thing with your mind. If you're a highly successful person who inspires a lot of other people, is a leader that people want to follow, then chances are you're an individual who polishes his garden, polishes his mind, make sure that it's up to date with the standards that he wants to create for himself. And this book really talks about having 6 basic things that you need to consistently do over a period of time. Well, 7 strategies, but within that, it's 6 things in order to develop that. The first thing that he talks about is having goals. Understanding that every successful person, no matter what, at some point, whether he fell into success or not, at some point after developing a level of achievement, they decided that they were going to have goals. Goals is what motivates people to do things. And he talks about how necessity is the mother of invention. So whenever people feel as if they have no other choice but to succeed or change something about their life, that's when success occurs. And if you can artificially create that mindset where your circumstances is something that's so unbearable, you refuse to be living this certain type of way, then success is just going to be something that you're going to develop and change. For example, if you truly believe that living a mediocre life is terrible, you refuse to live through that pain, and you do view it as literally torment and pain, success is going to be a byproduct of that viewership. So many people do live in poverty, but they don't believe that it's enough to get out of it. But anyone who's experienced riches, who's experienced success, but ends up getting put in poverty, they know what they're missing out on, and that pain is so much worse than them. There's a reason why that happens, why certain people become successful, and the truth is that people do and make decisions because they're either trying to avoid pain or they move towards gaining pleasure. But the far more motivating factor is pain. So many people, there's a story about how a dog will be sitting on a nail and he'll be whinging, and when someone asks, he goes, "Why is he wincing?" He says, "Because he's sitting on a nail." "Why doesn't he move?" The man asked. And the reason is because the dog says it's enough pain that he can complain about it and whine, but it's not enough that he's going to move. So if you can put yourself in a position where you truly do view whatever situation or hardships that you're going through as so painful that you refuse to sit on the nail anymore, then no matter what, you're going to do towards whatever it is in order to make sure that you get out of that situation. And that's the consistent thing when it comes through our time, is that so many people make decisions to avoid this pain because their perception of it is far worse than those around them. Because the reality of the situation is that 95% of people are poor. 95% of people live paycheck to paycheck. That's the reality. But it's not worse and not terrible of a situation. They get so accustomed to it, they don't want to make the decisions in order towards becoming successful. So if you can change your perception on your reality and understand that it's so unbearable about the situation that you're going to be in, it's only a matter of time before the goals that you set are going to be achieved. Because you truly do believe it, that unfulfilling them, not being successful in your drive, is far worse than the reality of the situation. Your mind, your perception determines your reality. Because so many people could go through a war. For example, the Spartans, they trained so hard. The Spartans were trained so hard that they actually preferred to be fighting in a war. They preferred to be fighting in a war because it was easier than training. They trained so hard that fighting in a war, like literally bloodshed, losing people, they preferred that than training. And that's what I'm talking about with the perception of reality. Now, I'm not saying to start doing that, but that is a concept that you can adopt. If your training is so much worse than the application, then you'll always be looking forward to applying. And it's all talking about that comparison and that perception creates your reality and stuff like that. The next thing it talks about is that your income will rarely exceed your personal development. Who you are as a person, the type of person you attract, whether it's your willpower, your discipline, your overall mindset, directly can correlate to the successes that you achieve in life, specifically your income. There aren't many CEOs, there aren't many top earners in the world who aren't genuinely inspiring people. You're extraordinary leaders. And there's a reason for that. It's because your skill set and character, money is a byproduct of having those instilled. If you develop your character, you develop your skill set, money will follow. That's just the way that it happened. If I wouldn't use Donald Trump as an example, but if Elon Musk, he lost all of his money tomorrow, right? His skill set and character is so set up and ingrained that he would probably be a millionaire in less than a month. Because of what he knows, the skill sets that he's accumulated, and the character that he can utilize to inspire people, he would just be able to create an incredible amount of wealth in a short period of time. So many people look towards finding the easy way towards becoming successful. So many look towards finding the shortcut. When the truth is, the shortcut is by developing yourself. Yes, sure, you can run the dice on the lottery, but most people who end up falling into success without going through the boot camp end up losing it. So if you want to, it's not about making money, because money comes and goes. It's about keeping it. And understanding that your outgoings also it's not about the money you make, but the money you keep. The difference between poor people and rich people is that poor people, they spend first and then save what's left over, whereas rich people, they save first and spend what's left over. That fundamental habit difference is what determines what you're going to do with your income. So understanding that it's not the money that you spend, but it's the money that you keep, dictates whether or not you're going to be wealthy, is really, really important. Because if you get paid $1 million, if you're on $1 million salary, that's what you're earning. But your lifestyle when you're earning that or making that or wherever it is that you're living is $999,999. You'd be hard pressed to say that you're earning $1 million, because a byproduct of earning that $1 million is that you have to spend 99% of it. So it's not the money that you spend, it's the money that you keep. Whatever your outgoings, it needs to be less than whatever your incomings is, right? Or you're just in a constant cycle. And that's the difference between the rich and the poor. So many poor people prioritize spending versus saving first, while specifically utilizing that money for investments, because that's the difference. Too many people, it's very difficult to save your way to wealth. If you want to become successful, if you want to make that, top 5% of the income, you have to look towards making your profits profit. You might be able to make $1 million or so on, but it's going to take in a long, extended period of time. I'm talking 50 years, that type of time. And if you don't want to do that, you want to get there faster, then you have to take the risk. That's the only way that you're going to get there, is by taking the risk. Being able to utilize that money that you have, utilize the time that you do have to invest that into creating more money for you. The next thing that the book talks about is that if you want to be successful, research it. If you want to be successful, research it. If you want to be good at anything, research it. If you're a maths teacher, then you've researched it. If you're excellent at motivational speaking, you've researched it. There is a simple equation whenever it comes to developing skills. Success is a skill, winning is a skill, winning is a habit, just like losing is. And if you want to know how to develop that, you have to research that. If you're well-versed in biology, I don't think you develop that naturally. I think you research that. And that's the same thing when it comes to success. So many people think that success is an innate skill. It's something that you're born with. When the truth is that we're all babies. We all learn something. And that's the same way. It isn't natural to be a makeup artist. It isn't natural to be able to want to do push-ups. Those are things that we developed through having intelligence and wanting to research it. And that's the same thing with success. And so many people get that a little bit mixed up. They think that it's not for them. When the truth is, it's those for the ones who choose. is those for the ones who choose, and it's really applicable for everyone. So that's pretty much what the book generally talks about. I highly suggest that if you do want to learn more, because there's so many things that I haven't been able to cover in this short video, so I highly suggest you do cover it with 7 Strategies for Wealth and Happiness by Jim Rohn. But other than that, guys, that's it for Quick Notes with Chris on. I highly suggest you keep looking at some of the other videos we do have uploaded, and keep looking to strive for improvement, putting yourself in a better position for success. I'll see you guys in the next video.